Okay, folks, welcome back to One Eye News, America's Eye, laser focus on the truth. I'm Johnny D, keeping my eye on the truth for America. Again, this is episode 6, and we're re-recording this because we had some technical difficulties, and this gave us a chance to add a few things in. But first, we need to begin documenting and recording and airing, the airing dates of these episodes so that we can record the factual timelines that we are pointing out, and to also confirm that we are and have been ahead of the curve in our claims and predictions that are being verified and backed up with factual evidence every day that keeps coming out in the news. So, I think that's important. And to also show that we are correct in our reporting, as you are now seeing with the facts that are currently being reported on, the Clinton and DNC, FBI scandal, and the Uranium One deal, and others as well, in which we previously told America that all of these people and entities were the people that paid for the fake fusion GPS dossier. And they, are all part of the anti-American citizens movement, including the corrupt FBI, who was and is acting on behalf of one political party. Just like, what happens in third world nations. And this is why One Eye News is insisting and predicting that the number one threat to America is the anti-American citizens movement that is being led by Obama, the Clintons, Eric Holder, and many, many more politicians as well. And the FBI, the DNC, and possibly the CIA and the NSA, as, not to mention the boots on the ground, who are the Antifa and the Black Lives Matter, who are both organizations that are anti-American organizations. Now, I am not claiming that every one of the intelligence agencies are totally compromised, but I am saying, as I have said before, that the hierarchy in these organizations like the FBI and the CIA and the people in charge are in cahoots with the anti-Americans like Obama and the Clintons, and the rest of the anti-American citizens that are unaware of their complicit participation in these anti-American agendas that are somehow applauded by the uninformed citizens, like the athletes in the NFL, for instance. And we will cover more on the NFL that we have pointed out is a fixed league. And, One Eye News will tell you how this is achieved. And we will give you the proof that can be examined and seen if you just look at the facts and do some simple addition. Okay, and again, I'm not claiming that every game is fixed or every contest in the NFL is fixed. However, there are many that are, and if you saw that game with the New England Patriots a couple weeks back, you would agree. Anyhow, One Eye News is recording this episode 6 and 7, on October 25th, 2017. First, we want to recognize the tragedy that took place in Las Vegas, as we have not, reported on this or commented on this at this point. And our prayers and well wishes go out to the victims and their families. And we wanted to take a little time to allow for the facts to come in before commenting on this tragedy. And we have recognized that there are some inconsistencies regarding the timeline of events and the facts that are being presented in the news and the mainstream propaganda media. And there are many unanswered questions regarding Jesus Campos, who was the unlicensed security guard at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and who has been very, well, let's just say, curious in his actions after the crime of the century, and has also been silent in regards to the facts that surround this mass killing of American citizens. Why, folks? Why is this person hiding the truth and the facts in his participation in taking off and leaving the country and all of these different things that are very curious? Okay? This is not the standard operating procedures in this kind of investigation, and there are many strange events taking place and information being hidden from the American public. Again, why? That's what we want to know. We will not speculate at this time except to say that there is something fishy going on here, and that is very concerning. We also want to recognize the people that put their lives on the line to assist the victims, which include many regular American citizens in addition to the first responders. It really shows how American citizens do have concern for their fellow citizens, and that there was zero division when it came to assisting any victims. All the people affected responded to any and all, regardless of creed, color, and race, which says a lot about our people when in a time of crisis. Okay, so I want to recognize that. And that is the real America that sometimes gets overlooked, and we are proud to be Americans that work together in times of crisis. We applaud these citizens and first responders. Now, I would like to give Las Vegas some very simple advice. And I will again apply common sense and logic to this tragedy in order to eliminate the possibility of this ever happening again in Las Vegas or any metropolitan city for that matter. It is very simple. If you want to have a large event, then hold the event indoors. Okay? Let's say like the Thomas and Mack Center or at the Orleans. Just like Vegas, the Vegas Strong event was held at the Orleans on October 20th at an indoor facility. And avoid any outdoor events that could be compromised by simply removing the event from any of the downtown areas where high-rise buildings are located. Move them to the outskirts where, security can be more easily established. So that really is a simple solution to this problem, rather than inconveniencing all of your guests by bag checks and any embarrassments that might occur, when you discover some folks, maybe they have sex toys or whatever in their bags, or non-threatening items that may lead to public shaming and or embarrassment and privacy rights and all those kinds of things. So that is just a common sense solution that I have not heard anyone else suggest. So, you're welcome, Las Vegas. Next, we need to correct a minor error from episode 5 when I was speaking in regards to Ray Lewis, and I misspoke when I referred to Michael Brown as Michael Lewis. And I mixed up their two last names. When what I meant to say was, Michael Brown, who was shot and killed due to his criminal behavior. Okay, so let's make that clear. And he did attempt to grab the officer's weapon. And he never put his hands up and said, "Stop, don't shoot." Okay, that never happened. And that is a fact. And the entire Ferguson narrative was all a lie, pushed by the corrupt media and the anti-American President Obama, who continues to be the most divisive figure in the so-called resistance, along with that criminal disgrace, Hillary Clinton, and the criminal and anti-American thief, Eric Holder. Okay? And Eric Holder has recently come out and admitted that he is definitely a member of the resistance, just like Obama and Clinton, who all continue to push their campaign of divisive rhetoric against a sitting American president. Why, folks? Why do they continue to push hate upon America and claim that they are the moral standard for America, when in fact they are the exact opposite of morality and justice, as proven in our earlier episodes in which we have detailed fact after fact and clear and concise evidence that all three of these self-described morality standard setters are all corrupt anti-Americans. Okay? And why is Eric Holder being put on a pedestal? This guy is a creep and a criminal, and he has been subversive and sabotaged our country. Okay, and now NBC is making a show based on Eric Holder himself. Okay, this again shows how terrible NBC is. Okay, and all of these claims that they have made against President Trump, they're all part of the fake narrative designed to divide the country. Okay? And they are not backed up with even one fact like we have presented to America about these disgusting, lying, cheating representatives of a blinded America. And they push the narrative that President Trump is a racist bigot, that is a white nationalist, okay? And that's just really a joke, folks, because again, there is zero evidence. All as they have are their words claiming that this is what is true in order to convince their mindless followers of this lie that is being accompanied by the corrupt mainstream media and the swamp creatures that are and have been the ruling class here in America for decades, as we have previously noted. Okay, and again, we are giving you factual information about Obama. If you go back and listen to our original episode, which was a 10-part series in which we detailed fact after fact after fact that clearly shows that Obama and his band of anti-Americans are all anti-American citizens, okay? And that Obama is a racist and a terrorist, a domestic terrorist, okay? And I know how hard this is to hear, and nobody wants to believe it. And yet none of these people have ever faced any consequences for their anti-American actions. Why, folks? They continue to be put on a pedestal and applauded, okay? This pattern has been prevalent with all of Obama's operatives that have deceived America, and they are all corrupt, as we have pointed out again and again and again. The fact is that the American people have been, the victims of the spin that keeps them ignorant to the real truth. This is absolutely obvious if you investigate these creeps like Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, Susan Rice, Jim Comey, Robert Mueller, Hillary Clinton, and Barack Obama, and the creeps running our intelligence agencies right now, and many others as well. They are all subversive anti-Americans that are still influencing the American people. And they have, they are the real cons that keep Americans swirling in their lies and deceit. And again, my friends, I know exactly how this sounds, and most people will never want to face the ugly truth about these creeps. Just like I didn't want to face it, but I have to because I'm a realist, and I want to know the truth, regardless of, how ugly it is. Just as the fact that Loretta Lynch refuses to answer the questions about her collusion with the Clinton campaign and her many, many crimes against America and the American people. The problem here is that Americans want so much and so badly to believe in these people. And again, I did too, but that's gone. That's gone. These people are creeps. And especially the black communities here in America, since they have been convinced by these people that America is a racist country. And that our president is a racist president, okay? Which it is the opposite. The former president is the real racist here. So they want and need to have the black representatives in power in order to protect and serve them. That's what they believe. Here's the problem with that, folks. The fact is that all of these black leaders and Obama operatives that are in power and have been in power previously are corrupt, and most seem to be the real racists here in America, like Maxine Waters, who is definitely a racist, just like Barack Obama. And we have given you the facts that provide the proof to back up our claims, unlike them who just spout out, oh, Trump is a racist, or this guy's a racist, or that guy's a racist, with no facts, nothing backing it up, okay? Having said that, we would also reiterate that there are a large number of white anti-Americans as well, also working to implode America and turn it into another third world nation, like the Clintons, the entire DNC. Yes, as we have pointed out earlier, the entire Democratic National Committee is an anti-American criminal organization, okay? And that is a fact, as you are seeing today being reported on Fox News. I doubt any of the others are actually talking about it, but the only people that are really telling you the truth on the TV are Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson and some of the others on Fox News, okay? And you may not like them or you may not agree with them, but they're giving you the facts, okay? But we're even going farther, okay? So again, the Clintons, the entire DNC, Robert Mueller, James Comey, and many, many, many more Democrats, and also including many, many Republicans as well, that are all swamp creatures attacking a sitting president. Okay? And those are the facts. We have provided facts to the racism from many of these black politicians, unlike the people who are pushing racism here in America, who spout out that people are racist, yet they offer zero proof to these claims. You see, folks, racism is a two-way street, all right? And there are many black and brown racists here in America that are pushing the race war, and they are pointing their fingers at the president and other whites that challenge them for any reason. Like, for instance, this racist who is now attacking the president and a Gold Star parent, General John Kelly, who is now the chief of staff for President Trump. And therefore, he is now aligned with the president, and so then he must be attacked and be labeled a racist by these real racists who, this is all in order to discredit John Kelly in the eyes of the people who are being misled. And now this so-called Congresswoman, quote, Frederica Wilson, Frederica Wilson is a racist, and who is claiming that John Kelly is a racist and crying out for the black community and the entire community to condemn him for defending our president, okay? And again, you cannot make this stuff up. This woman seems to be reveling in her newfound celebrity, and she calls herself a rock star. Give me a break. And she is clearly just another one of these incompetent and divisive black politicians that use their race to bolster their positions within their communities. Frederica Wilson inserted herself into the conversation by manipulating the young widow of the soldier in question who was killed in the firefight, okay? And the black citizens eat this up like double chocolate cake, and they're asking for seconds. And not just the black citizens, but the entire nation, apparently, or half of it anyways. Okay, there was another one of these soldiers' wives that went on the TV, and she basically said the exact opposite of what this widow said. Okay, President Trump called her, and she was reporting just the opposite. And you see, that was because Frederica Wilson was sitting there by the other widow's side, who was black, by the way, and telling her that President Trump is a racist, and then manipulating this widow, basically to project a narrative that President Trump was insensitive. And, maybe this widow actually believed that, but I believe what really happened at that point was Frederica Wilson claims that she was in the vehicle, and the phone call came in, and it went on to, on the phone so everybody could hear. And this was not a private phone call at that point. And Frederica Wilson claimed that President Trump had been insensitive, okay? Which is the exact opposite of what the other widow is reporting. And she was very happy to get the phone call from President Trump, and she said that he was extremely empathetic, okay? And this was very difficult for anyone to make that phone call. And so this was a racial attack manipulated by this so-called congresswoman and using this widow to do so. And in turn, turning the death of a soldier into basically into political gains for herself, with zero regard for the soldier's family that she claims to be helping, okay? And maybe the family believes she's helping them, but you see, folks, she's really manipulating them. And this is all part of their anti-American agendas that pit us against each other by utilizing race and continuing to boil our climate with hateful rhetoric and using race to do so. Where is the moral outrage against this so-called congresswoman for her attack on a Gold Star parent who is John Kelly? Huh? Where, folks? Where is the outrage from the press? Where is the outrage from America? What the hell is going on here? These creeps are not doing America and the black citizens any favors. And they're not doing any black citizens and America any service. Rather, they are the people who are continuing the divisive agenda set by Obama. Okay? And that is a fact. All you have to do is look, and you will see. And this is set by Obama and his band of racist operatives that attack whites, law enforcers, and anything that could be considered to be white, like milk, okay? Like we've previously pointed out. They are calling milk racist for being white. All right? Now, again, I said before, I love chocolate milk. So, what's that say? Come on, my friends. This is the way that they divide us. And I know that you will see that if you just investigate the truth. And the truth can be found within their actions. Look at their actions, folks. Like Obama surrounding himself with anti-law enforcement individuals and many terrorists that he supports and reveres, like we pointed out earlier, Oscar Rivera Lopez, William Ayers, who's a domestic terrorist and one of Obama's best friends, and, he commuted the sentence of Oscar Rivera Lopez, and he also commuted the sentences of over 1,700 other, mostly black criminals, who he said were not violent criminals, but just drug dealers. Well, that's not true, folks. Many of these folks have violent criminal charges in addition to their drug dealing charges. And, just look at his racist history, like attending a racist church, and on and on and on, as we have previously detailed in our earlier episodes. And if you have not heard the proof that we have detailed, please go back and listen to our debut episode, which is a 10-part series detailing all of these facts. The bottom line here, folks, is that Frederica Wilson is a joke and a racist, and just another anti-American congressperson, another politician using her power and her position to divide America. And she should be thrown out of office and replaced with a citizen that is not a racist. And maybe a black citizen that is real. You know, if that is what the people in Florida want. But it does not have to be a black citizen. It just has to be someone who is not a divisive anti-American citizen. Okay? And also, just like Maxine Waters, who needs to be replaced with someone who is not concerned with continuing the divisive nature of her attacks on white folks like she did, and, you know, basically incited a riot and praised, you know, the people who attacked Reginald Denny, okay? And she went to their homes and she praised them, all right? And there are many, many, many good, honorable black citizens here in America that can do these jobs with integrity and void of hate and division. So let's get rid of these creeps, folks. Let's vote them out of office. These are the creeps that are ruining our country and promoting hate and pushing the race war that we have predicted. And they are successful on many fronts, as you can plainly see. All you have to do is turn on your TV, folks. Okay, so we're going to talk about some more facts. So the facts are, fact, the FBI has conclusive evidence that there are black anti-American groups that are pushing for this race war, like Black Lives Matter. Yes, I said it again. And they are convincing many regular citizens, both, you know, black, brown, white, and all creeds and colors, that the whites in America, like our president, for instance, and now John Kelly, are the problem. And this is all a false narrative that is succeeding, and that is part of the anti-American citizens movement agenda that we have been detailing and documenting since the beginning of our series here. And this is all designed to create hate and division and to push this race war. And this is the number one threat to America and our citizens, black, brown, white, and all citizens that are being misled. Fact. The new war on cops is being led by groups like Black Lives Matter and their operatives, as we have previously pointed out. Okay? Now I'm going to cite Aaron Cohen, who is a former Israeli special ops agent. And he cites the FBI report and assessment. Okay? So I'm not just pulling my facts out of, you know, thin air like they do. They don't have facts. They just have statements and rhetoric and propaganda. All right? So Mr. Cohen is citing the FBI report and assessment that black extremist groups are classified as domestic terrorists and a significant terrorist threat to American citizens. Ferguson and the Ferguson effect has spawned this domestic threat. The report was filed as counter-terror report and has identified black identity extreme groups as counter-terror box. And they're put into the counter-terror box, which confirms that they are a domestic terror threat. Okay, now, when I mentioned that the FBI is compromised, that is true. But there are also many good people within the FBI that are not compromised, and these are some of the people that are doing the real work, unlike Robert Mueller and James Comey, the two previous heads of the FBI. However, the FBI's leadership is still compromised. Okay, so fact, since 2014, 6 targeted attacks are specifically recognized as perceived police brutality incidents and retaliations for these incidents, including the one in Dallas in 2016, where 11 police officers were shot and 5 officers were killed. Okay? That was Black Lives Matter, folks. You can believe it or you can, bury your head in the sand, but that's a fact. In 2014, a man with a hatchet attacked 4 New York City police officers. And in Indianapolis, where 2 different police stations were attacked, and another in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And those, if you look at those attacks, that is the standard MO and operating procedures of the former Weather Underground, of which William Ayers was one of the leaders, who attacked the Capitol building, the Pentagon, and police stations. And this is happening again in America due to the false narrative, and the Ferguson effect. And these are not even including all of the others like Ferguson and St. Louis and, all the attacks in Berkeley and on and on and on, which are a direct result of Obama's policies and his rhetoric against the police and incorporating groups like Black Lives Matter who are involved with all of these attacks and are the offspring of the Weather Underground, who Obama was a part of and still supports. And he still supports that terrorist William Ayers, who is Obama's best friend. Again, folks, these are facts. I'm not just pulling this out of thin air like they do. These are the facts about a former American president who was able to deceive nearly an entire nation, except for people who see the truth like me, okay? And again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but the facts that are now coming out about the Clinton campaign, about the DNC, and the FBI, I have previously, in our earlier episodes, I predicted that it was the FBI, the DNC, and the Clinton campaign, and Hillary Clinton who paid for that fake Oppo research from Fusion GPS. And now I have been vindicated because this is all factual. And so my predictions, which I came out with several weeks ago, and what I've been saying for months and months and months, and I was making those predictions, and even Fox News and Sean Hannity and these guys, they didn't even make these types of, they came close, but they did not go as far as I did. But again, I am not going to claim to be any type of Nostradamus or, the Oracle of Delphi or anything, but I do have an ability to see the truth where the lies are being sold to us, okay? I can somehow find the real truth. And I knew then that the FBI was compromised, and I said in my earlier episodes, and it's on YouTube for anybody to listen to, that the FBI was one of the anti-American organizations. Again, I know how that sounds, anti-American organization, and this is, again, akin to a third world nation. This is our highest law enforcement agency that is now corrupted and is operating for one political party in order to take down another political party, which is, again, a third world nation action. Okay, so this is very concerning. Every American should be enraged and concerned and demand the truth. Okay, which is, again, here is clear and concise evidence that these groups have taken the ball of the Weather Underground and advanced it to kill police and whites. Now, I'm not saying the FBI. I'm saying the anti-American citizens movement being led on the ground, the boots on the ground, by the Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and groups like this, okay? These attacks mirror the attacks by the Weather Underground on the Pentagon, the Capitol building, and police stations that Bill Ayers was given a pass from. And he should have spent the last 30 years in prison, when instead he was freed. And, him and Obama have implemented, again, William Ayers and Obama have implemented their offspring's agenda of this race war here in America. And Obama struts around like he is the highest moral authority. and deceives the masses by continuing to feed them the Kool-Aid that the people drink up and that they are intoxicated on, that allows for this hate and division that he pushes from the shadows. And even in the light, folks, in many cases, you know, when he says things like, the police acted stupidly. Okay? Give me a break, Obama. You're the only one acting stupidly. The police did not act stupidly. You are acting stupidly, and I'm going to point that out again and again and again until America gets the hint. Okay? This is obvious evidence that America ignores because they are in love with Obama. Well, because he's black and he was the first black president, and he can articulate his hate without saying what it really is, folks. That's right. Obama can articulate his hate and manipulate the people without saying what it really is. And it is hate. Okay? And then there are people like Joy Reid of CNN, who herself seems to be a racist. And she is accusing John Kelly of being a racist. Again, it goes back to the he who smelt it dealt it theory, folks. And anytime that they are pointing their finger and accusing somebody of something, they themselves are the ones guilty of that action. Okay? And again, along with that joke of another CNN talking head, who is Lawrence O'Donnell, okay, who is Irish and who claims to know that John Kelly is a racist, since he is Irish and grew up in a racist Irish community. All right, what a joke. Okay, I guess that must mean that you also are a racist, Mr. O'Donnell, because you're Irish. Didn't you grow up in an Irish community? Okay, what a joke. Lawrence O'Donnell is just another one of these white folks that are using race to further his own celebrity and, get kudos from these leftists and the anti-American citizens. Again, and he claims to be an advocate for the black community and a social justice warrior. These people are part of the problem, not the solution. Okay? Hey, Larry, get your ass over to Chicago and go walk the South Side for a week or so and see for yourself where the problem is and who the problem is here. Okay? I doubt you'd make it out alive. I don't know, maybe you would. But let's move on. I'm going to address another controversial character who recently came out attacking our president, and I may get some flack for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Who is the white rapper Marshall Mathers, okay? Who is another white person that is accepted and revered by the black community because he preaches hate against any whites that don't agree with his hateful rhetoric and who do not fall in line with this anti-white narrative. Hey, pinch yourself, Mathers. Did you notice how white you actually are? Come on now, folks. Let me be clear on Marshall Mathers, okay? He is a punk with a capital P and a joke. And, he's a hack. And his latest, really, he's just, he has no class, okay, which he's accusing our president of. He has zero class, and he's a hack, and he has no talent. And his latest freestyle rap against our president proves that, okay? All you have to do is go and listen to it. It's the most terrible freestyle rap in history. And it was an ignorant and racist rap, just like this little punk himself, okay? He is a no-talent hack that pushes hate against whites and women, for that matter, and he is revered by the black community for his anti-white and anti-woman raps. He is also revered by many white youth, and this person is disgusting as he raps about killing his ex-wife and his mother. Come on, where are all the feminists? Why are they not crying out? Why are they not condemning this idiot? Again, Again, I'm not an advocate for violence, but I would love to spend a few minutes in the ring with this punk and teach him some manners and respect. All right? Anytime, Marshall. You seem to like to beat on women, and I have zero tolerance for punks like you. Okay? And if you want to wager some of your 190 million on how tough you are, then I will definitely meet you in Las Vegas in the ring, and we can do it for charity, and we can give those monies to the battered women's shelter. Okay? Maybe that 190 million should be going to women of violence from little punks like you who have no balls to face a real man. All right. How is this accepted, folks? It is accepted and celebrated by the black community, the brown community, and even some whites here in America, because these are the people that engage in hate against whites and women. And this is somehow celebrated by the left and all these so-called women rights all these women rights activists who claim to be, for women, but why are they not saying anything about this person? Again, this is a joke. Okay, so let's move on. I don't want to spend too much time on this fool. As, like I said, a real man would not preach about killing women like his ex-wife and his mother because he felt betrayed by them. A real man would simply disassociate himself with people that have wronged him, rather than push hate and suggest that he wants to murder these women, no matter how disgusting these women might have been. And I don't know that they were. I think that this guy's just an idiot, and, he's a hateful, divisive figure. And, which brings me to the fact that is always ignored, and that is the fact that all women are simply just not angels here, folks, and not good people. And there are many women that do not deserve to be put on a pedestal. Okay? And that's just folks. That's just a fact. Many women that are disgusting and hateful and void of any morality and or integrity. And that is a fact that is proven by simply examining Hillary Clinton, who destroyed a 12-year-old rape victim's life when she defended the rapist in her early days and was caught on a hot mic and laughing about how she used the law to get this creep off, okay? And by attacking a 12-year-old rape victim on the witness stand whose entire life was negatively affected by this rape and the trial that followed by Hillary Clinton. And again, when she attacked several sexual assault victims of her husbands that were assaulted and even raped by this creep, by her disgusting sexual abusing husband and one of America's former presidents. Now, if you listen to our initial episode in which I pointed out that Obama is a racist and a radical domestic terrorist that fooled nearly our entire nation and the entire world, then you would see the truth. Of course, I will be labeled a racist, I'm sure, for attacking a former black president. However, and the first black president, by the way. However, I also pointed out that there have been many unethical presidents in our recent history. So now I will recap some of them, and 4 out of 5 of them are white. So does this also make me a racist? I don't think so, folks, because I am not a racist. I am just a person who's giving you the truth. And some people are so thin-skinned that they cannot handle the truth, okay? First, I would like to point out that President Kennedy and President Reagan were our 2 best presidents over the last 50-plus years. And the rest were just self-serving criminal assholes. Well, with the exception of Jimmy Carter, who in my initial description, I used one word to describe, and that word was weak. Okay, that may have been unfair. So let me clarify here and now. First of all, I detailed that all of America's drug epidemics were a direct result of the CIA's policies, and that cannot be disputed. The policies were to import heroin and cocaine and other drugs in order to wage private wars, like the private war in Laos during the Vietnam era, as we pointed out in our original episode. And by using Air America to import heroin and to put that heroin on the streets of America to marginalize the black community in America. And it worked. And it is disgusting. And those black citizens did not deserve that. Next, I pointed out that, in the 70s and 80s, that the CIA was responsible for the importation of the masses of heroin and of cocaine that, again, marginalized the black communities in America. And again, those black citizens did not deserve that. And, let's just examine who, again, folks, who was the director of the CIA back in those days? Let me think. Oh, yeah, George H.W. Bush. In some of those years was the director of the CIA and then went on to be the president of the United States of America. And his ex-president, this ex-president's character, or lack thereof, who is now being celebrated, as I just saw, with all of the 5 former living ex-presidents and George H.W. Bush. No. I'm going to call that out right now. This man was the head of the CIA, the director of the CIA, who was responsible for these drugs being imported into America. And that is a fact. These are facts, folks. So I'm giving you the truth about former white presidents that used the American people and abused their powers to either enrich themselves and or to promote an anti-American agenda. Just like, again, George W. Bush, who used the 9/11 terror attacks to invade Iraq and kill Saddam Hussein, as I pointed out previously. Okay? This is a fact, folks. And again, you might not like these facts, and this is the ugly truth about some of our former American presidents, which really kind of disgusts me, okay? So, and it should disgust everyone. And they should not be put on a pedestal just because they're our former ex-presidents. Rather, they are criminals who have used our people and our country to rob it and rape and pillage, okay? And, again, George W. Bush used the 9/11 terror attacks to invade Iraq, kill Saddam Hussein, and steal the oil, and thus creating, they destabilized the entire Middle East by doing this. So the Bushes and their friends could enrich themselves by stealing the oil from the Middle East, okay? All right, fact. The Bush family and the Bin Laden families were in business together, and they all profited from 9/11. Fact. Directly after 9/11, all air traffic in America was suspended, with the exception of the rich Bin Laden family members. Okay? These Bin Laden family members were allowed to fly their people out of the country. And why, folks? Why did that take place? I would truly like to know. I think if you really do some addition, it's very simple to see why. Okay, they were being protected by the Bushes, who were the ones that had the power to let them fly out of the country. Okay? Fact. Building 7 on 9/11 imploded when it was the towers that were hit. How did Building 7 implode, folks? How? It seems highly unlikely that Building 7 could have imploded when it was the towers that were hit. Now, I am not saying that our government planted explosives in these buildings, but there are many who believe they did. There are many who believe that the CIA were the individuals involved in this. many who believe that, like Rosie O'Donnell and also former Governor Jesse Ventura. Okay, and that's a fact. And Jesse Ventura, who, recently, just a few years back, promoted this theory on a series of TV specials that, basically showed how the steel could not have been compromised by the heat generated from the jet fuel. And since this series aired on television, Jesse Ventura has pretty much disappeared, okay? Where is he now, and why has he been silenced, folks? I have only observed him once since then on TV, and that was just very recently. Who knows? Maybe he just removed himself. I don't know. But I want to know. Why has he been exiled from the airwaves and from the American public? Maybe he did it himself. These are good questions, and they are not out of bounds questions, as I am always looking for answers to the questions that may never be answered. Okay? Like the Warren Commission headed by Earl Warren, who was the enemy of the Kennedys. And we will never really be able to view the actual documents that are scheduled to be released tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow. October 26th, 2017. These documents are scheduled to be released. But we will never really be able to view the actual documents since the government has hid the truth and is now again attempting to set the original release date back so these documents cannot be viewed, in which every person complicit in the cover-up will be dead by then, or most of them would have been, but I don't think they all are. But now they want to push it back even more years so that the guilty parties, also their offspring, will also be deceased before the release of the truth. And that way they cannot be face any retribution for the sins of the father and all that. Okay? So that was my prediction years ago. I predicted that these documents would not be released. And President Trump is not attempting to block the release of the Warren Commission documents that are now scheduled to be released to the public, unlike the current director of the CIA is doing. Why, folks? Why is the current director of the CIA doing that? Please ask yourselves that question. I think I know the answer. Okay? And even if these documents are released tomorrow or anytime soon, I would predict that they are heavily redacted in order to ensure the cover-up can never really be proven. We will see when and if they are released. And again, my prediction was a basic deduction from the evidence that I have investigated over the years and the facts that were hidden and the players that were involved, which all points to be collusion between the mafia and the CIA and our government, okay? And again, I know how hard it is to believe, but it's not a conspiracy theory, folks. It's the facts, okay? The facts are what tells me what is true. And the facts of all of these different players involved, shows you the truth. Right? Why was the lone gunman shot? Why was he executed by a mafia associate? Why, folks? Why? There is only one reason why, and that is because the mafia covered up the conspiracy, and hopefully we'll get to see those documents and we'll see the truth, but I doubt it. And again, this shows that President Trump is the most transparent president and open president since the Kennedy era, and even more transparent than Kennedy himself, and definitely more transparent than Reagan. Despite the CIA and the FBI attempting to keep these documents from being released, so President Trump is saying, please, release them. So again, you do the math, folks. 2 plus 2 and all that. Just do the math, folks. Okay, so from my perspective, 4 out of the 5 former living presidents, are basically scumbags. Again, I'm sure I'll be attacked, but again, and only 1 of these former presidents is black, and 3 are white. Okay, and I do not include Jimmy Carter as a scumbag. I think he was just, he's a good person that, he did not do the things that these other presidents have done. Okay? And he has spent his life since then in the public service, helping other people. So, I mean, I really do, applaud him. And, they cover up their crimes. 4 out of 5 of these former presidents cover up their crimes and command reverence by doing things like you just saw on TV, as the 5 ex-presidents are putting themselves on pedestals and to display a charitable and honorable nature in order to convince the public that they are morally upright and good Americans that care about the people that they have deceived for so many years, okay? And about the destruction that America has recently experienced with the recent devastation by these hurricanes. Well, let them give their own millions, okay? Put your money where your mouths are, folks. Come on, presidents, ex-presidents. Put some of your dead presidents, put your money where your mouths are and give some of your own millions and add to the cause from your own pockets. And maybe I would be convinced that you are not all scumbags, but I doubt it, because, they would just steal more to replace what they gave, okay? And you see, folks, it is simple to, it's very simple to hide the truth and appear to be a good, God-fearing, moral citizen by using their PR campaigns and these professional PR people to wash away their past sins against the American people. Like Bill Clinton, who is a pig and a rapist, yet everyone loves him as well. And like Obama, who is a racist domestic terrorist that hates America, yet everyone still loves him. Okay, this is what disgusts me about America sometimes, and it is an ongoing agenda, and it will continue until we open our fucking eyes to what is and has been going on for decades here in America. Just like the black athletes in the NFL, and all the athletes in the NFL for that matter, who are crying about police brutality and that Black Lives Matter. Well, if they really believed that Black Lives mattered, then they would be, they would tell their black brothers and sisters to stop breaking the law. And they would be taking a knee in Chicago and Detroit and St. Louis and so on. Not on the field against the flag and against America, who has given them all that they have. Period. Okay? And we're going to cover more on that later in the very next segment, because this is really going to be a 2-part segment. We're going to cut it off at about an hour, and then we're going to restart, and we're going to continue on with this entire episode. It's going to basically be a 2-part episode, but we're going to call it episode 6 and episode 7. Anyways, real quick, the last time I saw Bush and Clinton, George W. Bush and Bill Clinton, create a co-charity was after the earthquake and tsunami that killed 250,000 citizens of the world. And then there were people that received, some of these people in these communities that were destroyed, these people received from these charities, from this charity, a total of $50 to restart their lives. Okay? $50 after this charity. And they were telling me, hey, text $10, text here $10. No. I'm never going to give to these thieves, because they stole the money, folks. Where did all the money go? Why did these people only receive $50? Ask yourselves that question, please, because it is a theft of people who needed more than $50 to restart their lives. And again, when the Clintons used the destruction in Haiti to clean up and make millions off the tragedy that killed many and left them and their country in ruins. The Clintons insured their friends contracts that allowed them to make millions and create a monopoly by using cell phone companies to fleece the people of Haiti. And that is a fact. And if you go and interview, if anybody dares to go and interview any citizens of Haiti, any citizen in Haiti will tell you that the Clintons are thieves and liars and that they hate them, okay? And that's just a fact. And that their scams cost the lives of citizens even after the destruction of their country. And these are just the facts, folks. And so you see, I do agree with many black citizens that are calling out some whites for being racist and being thieves. But they are just calling out the wrong whites here. They should be calling out the Clintons and the Bushes, not the Trumps, okay? And President Donald J. Trump is not one of these ruling class elites, despite the fact that he is a billionaire. He does not belong to that club. The Bushes, the Clintons, and now the Obamas belong to that club, and President Trump never will. And this is why he will be attacked and disparaged until they rid America of a president that threatens their legacies and their corrupt system that has ruled America since the killing of since before the killing of President Kennedy, which was an assassination headed by the government, the mafia, and the CIA, period. Okay? And that is a fact, folks. And so we're going to end this episode here now. So again, folks, once again, thank you for tuning in to One Eye News, America's Eye, laser focus on the truth. I'm Johnny D, keeping my eye on the truth for America. Please follow us on Twitter, contribute at Patreon, share us, like us, and help us get the word out. And remember, America, we are not named Mark, so let's not be the mark.